Hey everyone, welcome to EsmaQ Den Podcast. My name is Belinda, Wekwachi Pepper, your host for today. Today we will be tackling real issues which we don't want to normally discuss. So today we'll be discussing about why men commit suicide, why relationships are not lasting, and why they are resorting to drugs. So with me in studio today, I have Abby.
Hello guys, my name is Abigail Wekwadjimbo. Today we are tackling these issues. Let's do it together, guys.
So the way I see it, actually, why do men commit suicide? How do you see it?
Men are in a very compromised situation, if I may say, because men face a lot of challenges in life that they do not talk about a lot of times. And these situations that they face, they are mostly given the strength that you're a man, you can handle this. You're a man, you can handle this. But sometimes they cannot handle it all by themselves. They need help.
In short, we are saying they are failing to handle the pressure.
Not that they are failing. The pressure is too much.
But how is it too much? Remember, when it is a woman facing, let's say a woman is actually in the same scenario. They are facing the very same challenge. Women are told to persevere. They must be strong. But why are men failing? That's the issue.
I want to refrain from the word failing because no man is an island. You will always need help. Men also need help from ladies, and ladies also need help from men.
True.
So if we say they are failing when they have not gotten help to persevere, then they are not failing. The pressure was just too much.
So you mean the pressure is just too much to men and not to women?
Looking at men have responsibilities. Okay, we may want to look at a man in general when we say he's a father, he's a son, he's a husband. All this is on one man because he has to be a son to his mother, to his parents. He has to be a husband to his wife. He has to be a father to his kids. So all this comes with responsibility as well. And responsibilities may be financial responsibilities, emotional responsibilities, physical responsibilities. Like you have to be present in your child's life. Physically, when your child goes for sports, you need to be there. But at the same time, you need to provide. You need to go to work. At the same time, you need to be there for your wife. Physically, emotionally, and financially. For your mom calls, hey son, help me with this. There are some men who are not privileged enough to have parents who can provide for themselves, so they have to fend for them. So pressure is coming from all sides, and men are burning from all sides. And if you don't have someone who you can offload that stress on, or who can help you, or whom you can talk to, it can be very, very challenging.
Okay, so you are saying the pressure is too much. I understand that. But pani point yangu inini, they could, I think we all, whether you are a man or a woman, we all go through the same challenges. Like what you said he's a father, he's a son, and then he has to provide. Even to women, it's still the same thing. Remember, they are daughters also. They are mothers as well. Most women go to work, especially in these days. Even as women, we work. We also go through the same. But I say what I see actually, inindofunga kuti men were raised in a different way. That's why if there is something, or if the pressure is too much, they ended up resorting to committing suicide, drugs, things like that. But I think, there are many, there are many facilities that they can actually go and open up to. I know men are not, they are not easy actually to open up to someone. But in the end, they have to avoid committing suicide or taking drugs, things like that.
Vulnerable. Men are not so vulnerable. They don't want to be vulnerable to women or to anybody for that matter.
But now, the reason that they don't want to be vulnerable, that's why they are committing suicide now. That's why they are even taking drugs.
Remember, in a man's mind, the moment he wants to tell you, to be vulnerable to you, he's telling you his problems, his challenges. He doesn't know what you're going to do with this information. Be it a wife, a man telling his wife what his problem is right now. He may think that maybe one day when we have a conflict, you are going to kundituka nezvandinenge ndakuudza. saka ndo saka vachizorega futi kutiudza, of which vanofana kutiudza isusuwo as women tinofana create an environment for men where they can feel and be vulnerable to us without fear of judgment. Because remember vanozorega nekuti vanenge vachitya kuti mukadzi ndikamuudza mangwana mukakanituka.
No, but that's not always the case.
It's not always the case. That's why you find it's not all men committing suicide. Those that are doing it, we're not saying that's the only reason. Remember, this is a complex topic. It's not the only reason why men are committing suicide. There are other factors as work stress. Men get bullied at their workplace. That they may not be able to come and tell you as the wife, as the partner.
But what I'm saying is, it's not always that they should go to a partner. Yes. They can also go to their friends and confide in their own friends. Remember, men understand each other as men. I might fail to understand a man, but another man can understand. Instead of you going to your friend, just go to a friend. If you can't go to a friend, remember there are counselors, there are social workers that you can go to. It will be confidential actually. No one will even know that you have discussed this issue with this one or the next person. So it mustn't always be your wife or a friend. If you can't go to those, just go maybe to a certain facility. They might be able to help, other than for you to keep it to yourself. We are having an issue. This is a very serious issue of drugs actually, especially now. You see, we have lost so many of our brothers to drugs. Drugs will make you do things and then eventually they will kill you. Same applies. Taking drugs, it's almost like committing suicide. Because remember, the moment you start taking drugs, it simply means you are no longer yourself. You are someone else. Actually, you no longer exist.
But we must also look at the fact that before a man can think, because don't take committing suicide as a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's not. Because before you can get to a point where you think of committing suicide, that thought, when it has come and it has corrupted your mind, most of the time there's no turning back. Because it's in a way it's spiritual. Because once that thing gets in your mind, it has corrupted your mind. And for you to go on with it, it shows that you have come to a point of no return. So now look at a man who's gone through, let's use losing a job as an example. This man has lost a job. He can't provide. And even if he has a wife who is assisting, because remember, even if he has family members who can help him, the battle is happening in his mind, not on the outside. The fact that someone came and gave me this that I could not provide for myself. The fact that I have to say thank you all the time, say thank you, that is eating him up. Those are the reasons that lead to committing suicide. Then he may say, so why am I living? I'm as good as dead.
Okay,
because
let me
I can't
take you
provide.
back a bit. Now you said committing suicide, it's more spiritual than physical. How is that more spiritual than physical?
Because the thoughts, I believe the thought realm to be a spirit world where it has not yet manifested. What now you see suicide is the manifestation of somebody's thoughts. Now the action that person has done was led to by the thoughts. So spiritually is something that we can't see. So it's happening in his mind. He's thinking about it. He's dwelling on it. He's entertaining the thoughts until by the time you see the note that he has already written and the suicide that he has already done, the thought world is gone. The spiritual world we've forgotten about that. Now we are seeing the physical, the manifestation of the spiritual world.
Yeah, as Christians, we might call it spiritual, but in actual fact, it might be mental. When we say our mental health is more important than our physical appearance. So I think it's something which is mental. That's why we are saying men needs help. For some reason, they need help they must be helped to cope with those thoughts. Because it's something that you can erase. If you actually speak with someone about it, like, you know what, I feel like, then you might find someone to assist. Sometimes talking helps.
Yes.
Because it's something which is in you. The more you talk about it, the more it goes away.
Yes. So we're saying talking helps. Men out there should talk about it. Discuss it with your social workers, discuss it with your friends, discuss it with your families. And us as family as well, when we see someone coming to us to discuss these things, it takes courage, guys, to open up to you, to someone about
really
how you are
does.
feeling inside, not knowing what they're going to do with that information. So when you have been trusted with that information, be trustworthy as well. Be trustworthy. And allow that person to know that, you know what, this one helped me. Because you never know, sometimes just listening and being trustworthy, you've saved a life. You don't know what that person was going to end up doing. But because you listened, because
So
you
we are
cared.
saying sometimes shamwari dzedu dzinotya alright, varume vanotya kunoudza shamwari dzavo kuti you know what, I'm facing this problem because anotozotya kuti once ndangoudza munhu uyu
Anokuseka.
akutoenda chitonoudza
zvangofanira zvinonzi murume akarohwa nemukadzi agone kuzvitaura. Guys, ndidzo pressure dzacho dzedzi dzaanenge achipinda idzodzo. Ndidzo pressure dzacho, because ndikazoenda manje ndikanoudza majenzi kuti mudzimai andirova kudheni, majenzi anondiseka. So zviri nandingonyarara. Waita sei apa ndadhumira. But iwe uri kutoabuswa kumbako.
iwo warohwa zvako.
Wakatorohwa and zvinotomustressa murume kuti saka ndodi ndosiya manje marriage yacho. Ndigonzi futi zvendakasiya marriage ndakafaila. Unotora varume vanozvifunga izvozvo.
Yeah, saka varume vari pama1. Anyways, varume, if you're out there listening, please try by all means to get help. There are facilities who can help men. They are even confide in somebody that you trust. Musaende kune vanhu vamusinga trust, because
don't commit suicide.
Community, and don't commit suicide.
It's not the solution.
I want to know about the fact that my marriages are vanhu vari kudivorce. My marriages are kufa so quickly. What could be the cause?
Marriages nowadays are not as marriages that we learned growing up. Growing up, we would just see marriages were good. Maybe it's because we were not into it as much as we are now that we've grown. But our generation has changed marriage completely. What we knew marriage to be and what it is now, I'm sure even our parents can stand with us on that point. I tell you guys, have changed the whole scenario. Because marriage is an institution.
Okay.
Marriage is not something small. It's huge. That's why you find even the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, showing that it is something that is considered to be a very good thing. But hey, people are even scared of marriages nowadays.
Oh, now it's because the Bible says men should be the head and wives should submit to their husband. Now it's vice versa.
Submit?
It's women want to be the head and men must submit. So men are not taking it as the divorces.
Men will never submit. Naturally, the man is formed in a way that a man is a king. So a man will never submit.
He is the head.
He won't. And that's one of the reasons why the marriages end up breaking, because a man will say, you must submit to me. And women now, because we have rights, we are empowered now, we feel that, no, I cannot submit to this. Unless you do 1, 2, 3, I cannot submit. But then we forget that submission is not conditional. Submission is not conditional. If you are to submit.
I once heard somebody say it, if a woman is loved right, then she submits automatically. So we can easily say men are not treating the ladies right. That's why the ladies are not submitting, or it's the rights. You know, everyone now has rights. I know my rights. So, no, actually we say it's 50-50.
Not in marriage. In marriage, there's no 50-50.
But where?
Yeah, in the workplaces, yes, there's 50-50. But in marriage, no. We may lie to ourselves, women. There's no 50-50 in marriage. It's always 60-40, 70-30.
So we are never equals.
Yeah.
Hence the divorces.
Because men will always be men. Men are kings. Women, we are servant to the king. So once you understand that, but if a king is pleased with his servant, he can give his servant benefits. You get the point? So if a man is not pleased with your submission, because there are sometimes when you as a woman submit to a man who even he can realize that, you know what, this woman is submitting to me, but I don't even deserve it. The way I've been treating her and the way I've been doing, I don't deserve it.
But I once heard somebody say it, sometimes it's better to divorce than for you to come back as a coffin, meaning there are too many of domestic violence happening in marriages.
Yes, if there's domestic violence, it is. I would say if there's domestic violence within a marriage, it is better to divorce than to hold on. But if there are just issues, general issues that can be solved, they can be solved. It's just that one of you two, because when there are two people, there's one who should lay low and there's one who should take charge. And when the other one take turns. So you cannot, and some things, let them slide. It's not everything that you must fuss over if you want your marriage to be sustainable. But if it comes to domestic violence, I would say,
please leave.
Run for your life, because the covenant of life is far more stronger than the covenant of marriage. So you cannot be in a marriage when you are dead. You can only be in a marriage when you are still alive.
So in terms of marriages, why they are failing.
But the point is, the reason why divorces are a lot, the divorce rate is high.
There are so many.
The reason why is because we don't commit anymore.
That's true.
We don't commit anymore. And another thing is that we have given ourselves opportunities to know a lot of people before we can enter into marriage. Now, by the time we enter into marriage, we have so much experience. We compare a lot. This could have been done like that. This could have been done like that. Not knowing that this person has his ways of doing things. He's not going to do like John. He's not going to do like Peter.
Peter is Peter. Same is same. John is John.
So we should
mustn't get it mixed up.
Yes. Firstly, we should stick to reserving ourselves as ladies and gentlemen. First, know who you are. First, know what you want before you enter into marriage. And then when you do that, while you are dating, still in the dating phase, look at the person you are with. Is this exactly what you want? Looking at the gap of the next 5 years, your idea and this person's idea, your goals, are they aligning? Will you guys be growing together or growing apart? Because in marriage, you should grow together. So when we look at those things at first, chances of divorce are few. And also looking at the fact that people grow apart in marriage, it happens. But you must, after 7 years, when you renew your vows, that's why some people renew their vows. They are looking at, okay, what we agreed upon 10 years ago, is it still what we are doing, or have we changed? And if we have changed, how have we changed? All those things, you should consider them so that your marriage remains intact. And one thing, once you're in marriage, remain faithful. Because the moment you are not faithful, you have opened a crack, and this trust is now between you. How now do you live with someone you do not trust?
Yeah, I hear you.
Betrayal destroys love than anything. Distance
listening
is better.
To what you are saying, you tackle different many reasons why. Yeah. You said, number one, women must submit. Mm-hmm. And men should always be the head and lead. Mm-hmm. Number two, you mentioned people tend to they are not committing actually. I was commit in my relationships. Mm-hmm. But I say in terms of committing, I think one not commit. But then during the course of time, remember, like what you are saying, before you commit, know who you are committing to. Get to know yourself first. Mm-hmm. Things like that. Yes. But do you know that when people are in courtship, they pretend? There is a lot of pretending, like a lot which happens there. Yes. And then during the course of time now, and you now get to know the real person that you marry when you are already staying with them.
But if you take your time in courtship, to be honest, because remember, we're not talking of somebody who comes with the wrong intentions. If you come with the good intentions and the gentleman comes with the good intentions, chances are you guys will create something that will last. We're not talking of people with the fly-by-nights, because if you are intending for marriage, you cannot come in with false. You cannot come in pretending. Be the real you, so that this other person can also see the real you and be the real them, and then together you build something that lasts.
Saka but skutaura ma fly by night.
Tukutaura
vanhu touya with good
genuine
intentions. But if you ever, I once heard somebody say it, vakadzi vanopinda mu marriage vari loyal, vozotobuda vakuroya because of how they are being treated.
Yeah,
I think basically it starts from mostly in marriages it's men who are not faithful.
Even women are not faithful.
Because you know men, they do touch and go. Whenever they go out and they date, it's not like they vanopinda nemoya vapinde nemoyo. But the problem is vakadzi isusu manje tinozopinda nemoyo. Once wapinda nemoyo and then ndope patikuzodzokera kumashure shure kwatatangira nyaya yedu kwekuti once munhu let's say inini ndini ndazoenda outside and then ndobva ndanopinda nemoyo and then the one I'm staying with or my husband finds out even they can't handle the pressure yawambotaura iyai after vatadza kuhandla pressure yatinombohandla isusu kana vachita. Do you know a man can cheat 4 or 5 times and then you forgive? After once wangochita iwo chete after dzakuhandla pressure akutonocommita suicide. How is that possible? Zvikutaura here kuti vakadzi ndevesimbi varume ndeveplastic because they can't handle the pressure.
Ipapo varume handi vamiriri vanenge vachitoresva ipapo because mukadzi achitotanga kupinda anotopinda nemoyo. Mukadzi unotopinda ari loyal anotopinda nemoyo
anotozotaka kuroya amo.
Exactly. Kuzoroya ndiyo wakuita decision yokuroya because unogona kudecide kuti ini hangu handichadi ndangobuda zviro kuti chibuda uchiroya. But varume ipapapa vanobhaisa because once someone is committed, because remember isusu vakadzi tisi tinoudzwa kunzi ndokuda anditi then you now listen to this person akuudza kuti ndokuda chero wanga uchitombofunga 1 2 3 things unogona kutoona kuti saka uyu uri kundida kusvika papi kana ada ndiroora 1 2 3 ndogona kutomborega because remember those are some sacrifices that women do. Ndosaka vachizoregreta some of the times kana murume womuchita womuitira zvanenge achita kuti but ndakasiya chakati changu ndaifanira kunge ndakatopedza chikoro kani ndichiti uyu achandiroora. Those are some of the sacrifices dzinozoita kuti munhu apedzisira achiroya. Asi kana wakangopinda hako uchiziva kuti wakupinda mumarriage handiti woone trust yekuti umwe wako uyo anogona kukurespecta. Varumewo vochirespectawo vakadzi because paunenge uchichita umwe munhu paya zvinorwadza chaiko zvekutoti munhu anogona kutofila like my world has crumbled nekuda kwemaactions aunenge waita. Izvozvo ndo zvinozocreate enmity within me because now what must I do now with those emotions that you have given me the are bad that negativity ndiite sei nayo ini ndo panozobuda kuroya. But you can also choose to cast out the negativity. Womboenda kuya kucounseling kwatachitaura wombonocancelawo nevanocancela kana kunga kuchechi kana kunga kumafacilities anocancela woudzwa unzi aiwa it's not the end of the world because dzimwe nguva unenge watova nevana 2 wakufunga kuti inini handishandi achaprovide ndiani. All those things zvinoaffecta upenyu hwomwe munhu. Saka as a man usati waita izvozvo inini vakadziwo futi there are some women who do cheat.
Kune nyinganyinga dzevakadzi
kutori nevakadzi vanotochita kutochita zvekutoti anenge achitobveja kuti hakubuda unge ndabatwa asinaobatwa anenge achitongova.
But we are saying kuba.
Saka izvozvo ndo zvinotaridza kuti generation yedu haisisina commitment inohold a marriage, trust inohold a marriage because once there's no trust in marriage chances of divorce are very high.
Very high.
Once someone cannot commit, how can I now commit to you when you can't commit to me? So chances of me divorcing are very high. Also another factor is financial issues. Finance chaidzo rudo hanzi love cannot keep the marriage going. Only love cannot keep the marriage going because you look at things like we need finance in the house. Kids want to go to school.
Trikuda chikafu
chirudiwa, rent iri. All those things unogona kupedzisira uchigara nemunhu wanoti indofirei kweni. Those things even murume chaingona kuona kuti munyama wantori nawo ndiye mukadzi iyoyo.
So in the end
finance chaidzo dzinoleader ku thinking mindset iri wrong. Zvekupedzera uchifunga sokuti maybe breaking the marriage is the solution. It's not.
Nenyaya yekushaya mari.
Nzara chaita kuti ufunge zvimwe zvinhu zvekuti azviti.
Okay,
break a marriage futi izvozvo. Finances. Ku language, communicating. Every time patongotaura inini newe it leads to an argument. Every time tikada kuti tinzwanani nditiwo zvauri kundiitira izvi hazvisi kundibata bho iwo uruda kuti get a word across to your partner hazvisi kusvika. Izvozvo chaizvo zvinotokanganisa marriage because unenge wangoziva kuti ingori noise yega yega kana tangotaura yangu noise yega yega.
Izvozvo zvinokonzereswa nekuti vanhu vanenge vari frustrated
communication haipo manje.
Communication, as long as vanhu vangori frustrated chete hapasitorina communication at all. Like iwe utone mafrustrations ako ini nditone angu. Saka you can't even get any word across because already we are frustrated.
Ndakatotsamwa kuti iwe hauna kuuya nemari munomba saka unoti
then iwe oda kutry kutaura kuti madi tamboti tidai so hazvibude zvinhu izvozvo. So tikutaura kuti okay, just to round it up about why my marriages they are ma-divorces ari kuwanda and ma-marriages ari kufa so fast. So tiri kutaura kuti ma-finances is another factor.
Yes.
Number 2, tiri kutaura kuti trust is not there anymore. What you don't trust, you don't trust.
You can't live
with what you don't trust. And then tiri kutaura kuti commitment.
Personally, commitment is personal.
Communication breakdown as well.
Kutongozvudza kuti nini I'm committing to this.
To communicate with each other.
Communication as well.
So in short, tiri kutaura kuti whenever a relationship yakuita kunge tisisanzwisisani like zvataimbonzwisisana kumashure. Tiri kutaura isusu kuti let's go for counseling number 1. Let's find somebody that can actually, let's say, because it's not everyone ane mari yekuenda counseling. So ngatitsvagei even hama dziri padhuze kwete hama dzedze dzinozoti makanzwa here zvakazoitika vanhu iva vari kutonetsana teta kuda munhu ari padhuze kuti anogona kutiyananisa isusu tiri tu. So I think as couples, before we think of divorce, ngatitsvagei is either counseling if we have the money.
Exactly.
Kana pasina mari totsvagawo hama iri padhuze inogona kutiyananisa. Ndo zvatiri kutaura.
Because divorce yacho futi haisi kushanda. Because uchadivorce iwewe uchifunga kuti ndasiya izvi. Ungonopinda because uchanopinda mune imwe relationship yomwe akatodivorce
the very same attitude yagoita kuti udivorce.
And once wangodivorce akawautozvudza kuti inini ndinogona kungotosiyana nazvo futi. Because that mentality iri kutopinda mauri. Iri kutoruinika iwewe as a person.
Counseling. Because without counseling uchangotakura the very same attitude yambokubvisa kwawabva woenda nayo to the next.
Wato worse because
counseling is the proper way to go. Find someone anogona kukupa counseling guidance. So it's very, very important.
Yes.
And then on the issue of drugs. Why? Because the issue of drugs, it's not only men. There are also women, boys and girls who are taking drugs. So we can't say, to men, we can easily say they are taking drugs because vanima issues like kumba kubasa and stuff. How about to the young boys and girls and to women as well? What could be the cause?
To the young boys and girls, I would say it's social influence or peer pressure. Because mwana anokura muenvironment kana mughetto, mostly maghetto edu ndo ari kukorruptwa nemadrugs. Mwana anokura achiona vakuru vake vachiputa, vachismoka mbanje, cigarettes, haazvione sezvinhu zviri abnormal kunge zvichiitwa. Kwaari it becomes normal. Zvekuti iye paanototena 16 anotofila justified kuti ndaane 16 I can try it. Umwe angona kuti uchitry akatochifarira, umwe akachitry akachiramba. But unfortunately vazhinji vanozvitrya vachizvida. So we end up having a generation yema 14-year-olds, ma 16-year-olds anosmoke. Wozvibvunza kuti ava stress yavava ndeyei? Ava vasi aisinyaya kuti vane stress. Inyaya kuti vakatongokura musociety inoita make a norm. Make it normal for someone to just smoke. You can just, and grown-ups as well, tichifana kuzvipa ma-responsibility wawo kuziva kuti pane zvimwe zvinhu zvaunogona kuchoose iwewe wakura as a grown-up and do it, but don't do it in front of the kids, because the kids must also have a decision, make a decision isiri influenced by you. So now when you come with that influence kuvana, uroda kuti vana ava vatongokura vatori ngori ma-drug addicts, because you have a drug addict ane 18 years. It's a whole life, it's a whole destiny. Yatokorruptwa, yatokanganisika. Uchazosvika here kwaari kufana kusvika. Ndosaka tichizopedzisira tiine vanhu vanoshaika at 30, 35. Washaimika kuti saka upenyu hwake hwanga hwatopera, anga atoachievha chichi chachatoitika panguva iyoyo.
Because of drugs.
Zvinova zviri zvinhu zvinotorwadza chaiko wakazvitarisa, because madrugs, mwana ane 16 years haana reason yekumboinga achitora madrugs. But because of society yaanenge achigara neupbringing yake ndo inolida kumadrugs iwawo. Tozoenda kuvati kurei vanenge vari kuma 18, 20, 30. Avo vanogona kunge vaine ma-pressures ekumabasa. Also peer pressure plays a role. Because chinhu chaunogona kungoona ma-friends ako achichiita achifara. Kana kuti unochitanga sechinhu chauri kuita just for now wotozopesera
Just
wakutoona
for
kuti
fun.
watova dependent, because remember achitongogadzirwa madrugs aya is to make you dependent. Zvinhu zvese izvi zviri kukonzereswa nevanhu vanenge vasiri kuda kutora responsibility. You know kuti drug does not take away the pain, drug does not take away the disappointment, drug does not take away zvavanoti kwai relaxes the mind. A drug does not relax the mind. Ona zvinoita munhu anenge atora dombo matauriro anenge achingotaura asingapedze. Would you say the mind is relaxed pakadaro? It's not.
It's actually working over
It's
time.
working over time, that mind.
And I've actually spoken to someone and vaitaura kuti we are stressed. I think I spoke to a guy around 20 to 23 years of age. Aitaura kuti, you know what, my sister, it's not like I enjoy taking drugs. They are not good, he knows. They are very bad. And he doesn't like the things that he does after he takes drugs. So kwa ari iye, it's sort of a coping mechanism. Yekuti remember, takangochila muhood se boys. And there is nothing going on. Hakuna mabasa, hatina kana mari. So sometimes we can say it's peer pressure. Yekuti vanhu vakazvisurrounda navo. They are actually taking drugs and then in the end, let me just join. And another thing, aitaura kuti ndotozviziva kuti zviri wrong, but ndakangogara muhood ndopedzera ndakufunga maybe kunoba or kunoita something bad, so I would rather take drugs and then sleep. But one thing that he discovers is the drugs actually don't make him sleep. Otherwise they make him misbehave. Anopedzera akunisana nevanhu kumba. Akuita zvinhu zvekuti even iye haazvinzwisise because they will be controlling him. And my drugs, they are addictive. Remember, unotanga kumatora izvizvi. You are just taking them for fun. You are in control. Yeah, that's how they feel. They actually feel like, yeah, I'm in control. I'm on top of the world. Yet knowing they are actually destroying them. And they lead to a certain point that you can't do without them. Zvekuti ndanchimbo avoida kuti ndisaende unoba. Akutozonoba kuti afide the addiction. Which is
madrugs
not good.
Madrugs anounza kwandochi kugumirwa. Because munhu anozvidza kuti ndakangogara handina chandiri kuita. And there are a lot of things someone can do. Pane ka trend kandakaona ke fish farming. Noza fish farming haina ine season.
No, haina.
Fish farming haina ine season. Nogona kuenda kuma roots uko. Monogadzira makomba enyu so mongotsvagana mabags esimende moplaster, which is something that you can sacrifice, because remember, feeding that addiction yawinayo madrugs needs money. So it means utori nayo mari iwewe yawakatotanga uchitoshandisa kuzopedzisira usachatogoni kushanda to a point yekuti you are now an addict. Had you taken that money ukangotsvaka kamwe kanhu kakangoti seka fish farming, waunotora zvako tuhowe twako turi tudiki uko woya wotukandoma wototufeeda, wotanga kutofeeda, unotanga kutocreate something big chekuti utori munhu akuti unogona kutongoti vana momstora fish tidye, because kufunga kwako kuri free. But madrugs manje, they keep your mind caged, they put you in bondage. People turn to drugs thinking it's a way of relieving stress or it's a way of saving themselves, but no, they don't know that they're actually getting in deep. So drugs are not a solution. Think of something that you can do the moment you feel kuti wagumirwa. Sit down, use that brain, think. Mind inofunga zve inogona kuto stretch to the capacity yausingatoziviwo kuti mind yako inofunga to that capacity. Saka funga iwewe kuti what can I do to better myself mu environment yandiri. Guys, I tell you, if you think positive, you will find something. I'm not saying most of the time the economy may not be as favorable, but if you give it to yourself kuti ndoda kufunga nditsvage to solve, be a problem solver.